welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we'll be listening in on one of Grandmaster Teacher's Light Tajiri Bey's calls. Now in this call, one of her students that she teaches all of this cancel all corporate contracts nonsense, one of her students is trying to air a grievance with her because her teachings have pretty much cost him everything that he's had. He's literally losing it all because of her teaching. So he's calling to air a grievance with her and to see if she can give him some type of remedy to all of the madness that has taken place in his life since listening to Light Tajiri Bey. So we'll be listening in and seeing what type of answers Light Tajiri Bey gives one of the very students that she teaches her foolishness to. So let's check it out.
Any questions about that? Any comments? Anything of any nature? Or any questions about any of the demonstrations that you did? Islam.
Grand rising to all Moors. Just wanted to give or comment and to talk about a situation. There's a lot going on. We all know that. And in relation to folks, what you just said, which was the behavior of those that would be subjects, if so jure, as it relates to our demonstrations and our work. I've done a lot of work for the nation. I've done a lot of stuff for the nation. There are some concerns, some immediate concerns for safety relative to those demonstrations and the stuff that's going on that I see happening. I don't have any particulars that I'd share at this moment. However, I just wanted to put on the call that is an issue and a concern. That's it for now. Is there any parameters or things that are
an issue or a concern?
Say again?
You said safety is an issue or a concern?
Yes, physical safety, and that includes a place to stay. That includes a conveyance. That includes the immediate concerns of being in air. I don't think it's enough to tell somebody that they just need to be competent and that they need to do this or do that when they're doing that. I don't think it's a thing about energy, because guess what? Good energy, bad energy, if an air is an air, they're an air. And if they have an immediate need and they've been breaking their neck, doing everything that is necessary to do as they understand it, I don't think they should be homeless. I don't think they should be without. I think that's insane. We have gone far. We've done much. But I think we need to really, really revisit that and make sure that that we're taking care of what needs to be taken care of. So that said, I'd love to hear any comments or questions about that. And with that, I yield. Unless someone has a question for me, I yield.
Okay, so we need to decode what this Moorish individual is actually saying. What he's pretty much articulating to Light Tajiri Bey is that he has lost his home and he has lost his car because of the instructions and the teachings that she has provided him with. He has listened to her, and when I say listen to her, she teaches these people to cancel all corporate contracts. And when they do that, that means they're not held responsible for any bills and anything of that nature, and can just live for free and drive around with these fake Moorish plates. So what he is telling her is that he took her advice on this stuff, he's done it, and the end result is that he has lost his home and he doesn't have a car anymore. So now let's see what she says in response to what he had just told her. Now keep in mind, he is airing this grievance out with her because she's one of the leaders of this Moorish sovereign group. So she's the one teaching all of these tactics to do. So because he follows her, he listened to her teachings, and he just told her what the end result was of everything that she has taught him. So we're going to sit back and see how Light Tajiri Bey responds to what this Moorish individual is saying to her. Is she going to help him? She's his teacher. She should be able to help him. She's the one that gave him the information that he followed. So let's see.
Islam. So, are there any more on this call who last night, let's just say last night, I'll just ask about that one night. Are there any more on this call who last night slept under a bridge?
Islam. Every night for the last. Well, under a bridge, a specific location. However, it is.
Well, I was just asking about that part right there. I'm just asking about the bridge.
Wow, this lady is absolutely amazing. Her very first response to everything that he just said is, are there any Moors on this call who has slept under a bridge? First and foremost, the man didn't say that he slept under a bridge. What he said to you was that he has now lost his home. So how does someone losing their home equate to somebody sleeping under a bridge? He could have slept in a homeless shelter. He could have slept on a train. The fact of the matter is he's homeless because of the silly stuff that you taught him. So how was your very first response, is there any more that has slept under a bridge? Wow, this just shows you that you should not be following this lady, because she is going to lead you down the wrong path, and then when you question her about it, she's going to say silly things like that.
Well,
did any more sleep outside against their will? Last night.
Hold on a second, because I want to make sure that this isn't obfuscated. Under a bridge is a specific location. I understand I get your point. However, for someone to have done work that has yielded results, however, the results have not been manifest for that person in particular.
Are you talking about yourself?
Do we need to be specific? If we do, we can.
Well,
I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's necessary. Hold on. I have firsthand experience with my own situation. That's where you want to go. The issues that I'm talking about are from my own personal experience and that of many more. So, the issue, like I was saying, is under a bridge is a specific location. Displaced own is a whole different question. I'm sure there's many more that have been in that situation. that are currently in that situation. Who is to say what type of housing is sufficient, or what type of conveyance, or anything else? An heir is an heir, and their credit is what it is. So, like I said, I'll yield and I'll listen. I'm curious to hear what anybody's thoughts on that are.
So here's my thoughts on that. The energy piece cannot be negated, because see, to say that an air is an air, energy, that energy is energy, that's a dangerous place to be. The energies mean everything. There's a reason why we say what we say about the energy. But if you continue to overlook that, you'll continue to pay the price for overlooking that. And the more in the chat, they feel me because, you know, you can talk because for many years, we've been in error the whole time. So then it's not about whether we're in error or not. It's about what we know about us, and it's about how we respond to the testing that we're given. We've been the heirs even in citizen status. We thought we were citizens, we were still the heirs then. So it's not about whether we're the heirs or not. It's about, do you know what heirs really mean? Being competent at being an heir has everything to do with the energy.
Islam. I just want to say this because, as I said, this could be my last call. I don't know what's going on. There's a lot going on. But for the record, the demonstrations that I've done were not mine alone. They were done in concert with. Now, if people want to put out that it was just me doing whatever and I have bad energy, to me that sounds like a sacrificial lamb. I never signed up to be a sacrificial lamb for anything, not anybody or anything.
Okay, so this Moorish gentleman, he's airing his grievance out with his master teacher, Light Tajiri Bey, and he just said this might be his last call, which tells me that he has got into some legal troubles behind all of this nonsense. So as we can see, following Light Tajiri Bey will not be fruitful for your life. And then when you follow whatever it is that she teaches and it doesn't go the way that she said it was supposed to go, when you question it, she will just give you the runaround. She's talking about energy and this or that. Like, this lady is a con artist. The thing is this: the individuals have to be smart enough already to know that this stuff is a bunch of bull and it does not work. And these people that you're following, they don't have the answers. Not only that, they don't even practice what they preach. Light Tajiri Bey doesn't practice none of the stuff that she preaches, which is why this gentleman just said he didn't sign up to be a sacrificial lamb. Well, the issue with that is that's just tough luck, buddy. You were supposed to be smart enough to know not to follow this nonsense that she was telling you to do. You can't just claim people's homes. You can't just drive around with no driver's license, and all that canceling corporate contracts is nonsense. You as an individual are supposed to be smart enough to know that all of that was a bunch of nonsense and you shouldn't have been following it to begin with. Now look, you're paying the price. You just said this might be your last call, which means you might be going to jail because of this foolishness. It's tough, but it's a lesson that you have to learn. And honestly, you even airing this grievance out with your master teacher is clearly not going to do anything. She can't help you. She didn't force you to do any of this nonsense. She advised you to do it, and you, like a fool, listened to her, and you did it. And now you see the end result. Your life is ruined.
I have done the absolute best I could to see to immediate needs. When specific. When I was displaced from my home, it was my home that I was going after, not 10 domiciles. That decision was made in concert with others, all of whom now seem to have done something else, or whatever. I don't know what the deal is, but I know I'm not okay being somebody's sacrificial lamb. I'm not. So if the nation is doing something else,
did you know that as a sovereign, that no one can make you a sacrificial lamb, but that you do that to yourself? We all do. If we choose, that's a choice. Just like slavery is a choice.
Well,
it's a choice whether we consent to that or not. I
am saying right now, for whoever is listening, I do not consent to be a sacrificial lamb.
You don't have to.
The demonstrations that were done with full knowledge of all concerned, and anything else, any other misrepresentation is just that, a misrepresentation. The aspersion that I somehow have bad energy. I may disagree with some things, but that's not bad energy. That's disagreement.
Did someone say you had bad energy?
I said if someone said that. If someone is saying that, hold on. I'm not going to let you talk over me because, like I said, this could be my last call. This situation where information is misrepresented and presented in a certain type of situation, that's not cool. I'm not cool with that. I was good as long as we're going in what I saw was a good direction. If we start going in another direction, I have a responsibility as a sovereign to speak up, to say what I think. Now, if that's deemed bad energy by somebody that disagrees with me, okay, you can say, you can think that. But my energy, my connection to the universe is pure. It is what it is. And if I have the opportunity, then that will be made manifest, or is already made manifest. The fact that the work that I've done has had results, but those results have been shielded from me is not an act of the universe. That's an act of some persons or parties that are involved. And those, yes, are corporate terms, because those are corporate actions. The universe doesn't work that way. For me to have done demonstrations that have yielded results and have them shielded from me so that my children go without, that's unconscionable. And I don't care what kind of spin people want to put on that. It's not okay. It is not okay. And you know what? The same universe that we're talking about and the same karma and all of those things will come to whoever is and whatever is doing all that madness. Some things have been said that I agree with on these calls. Some things I don't agree with on the calls. And when I don't agree, I speak up. So,
and we
all of that.
You speak up. Hold on, Justice Dearmore. Let me. I was just letting you finish. I was letting you finish. Go ahead.
No, that's the gist of what it is. That is what it is. That's the gist. I'm not playing any games. This is not a game for me. I yield.
Again, hold on for just 1 second. First, Justice Dearmore, and then the Empress, because I believe there's an Empress who wanted to say something. But let me say this about all of that. The same thing I said at the beginning of the call, I say it now. It's all about the energy. And nothing can happen to a sovereign that we don't consent to. I'm just telling you. Nothing happens to the sovereigns that we don't consent to. And when we realize how powerful we are, like that, then we'll be on the right track. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Islam, I was just listening and but listening to what is being talked about and seeing what you talked at the beginning, and you know where I am at with that. If the energy is not right, nothing else can ever be right.
Okay, so to clarify what's going on in this conversation, we have a Moorish sovereign who is explaining his mishaps to his master teacher, Light Tajiri Bey. He has told her that he has lost his home and he also lost his car, right? So he took her advice. He canceled all corporate contracts and now he stopped paying his bills, which is why he said that the home that he was claiming was his own home. So pretty much he stopped paying his mortgage on his home because that's what she advised him to do. And he has since lost his home. And her rebuttal to everything that he just said is that his energy wasn't right. Like, you gotta be absolutely kidding me. This is why I advise any Moorish sovereign who is looking to join this group, do not follow these people. You see what just happened to this brother on the phone. He listened to every single thing that she told him to do. He did it, and now he has lost it all. He lost his home and he lost his car. He is now homeless, and her only answer to it is, your energy was off. No, his energy wasn't off. The problem is all of that crap that you teach does not work. None of it works. Also, she does not practice what she preaches. When she preaching to cancel all corporate contracts, she doesn't live that life. She still pays her mortgage. She still has real plates on her car. She doesn't drive around with Moorish national plates. She still has a driver's license. So she does not practice what she preaches. So this is a warning to anyone who stumbles across Light Tajiri Bey's information. Do not follow it, because we see here we have somebody who is airing a grievance with her because her stuff doesn't work, and the only thing she can come back to him and say is that your energy is off. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Do not follow this lady. You will lose it all if you do.
So that is correct. I understand what brother is saying, but again, it's a matter of, again, the one who is being pressed and the one who is looking at the presser. So he's being pressed and he's going through a lot of things right now, and I agree with that. That he needs solutions, but the solutions will only come from within self. They cannot ever, 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 and I mean ever, come from outside and from someone else. So I would say, I've felt this kind of way, and I've been through all kinds of adventures to get to these 60-somewhat years of travel. But I don't regret any of it, and I don't spend time being concerned about who is doing what to me. I spend all my time considering what I am doing to me. Because if I get me right, I know that it doesn't matter what the hell else is wrong. I'm all right. Because, and I just wanted to say that to make the point that ultimately the responsibility and the responsibility is to me, for me. And I would not allow anyone else to take that responsibility on or try to blame them for any part of what I don't see as being successful. But I'm talking about That is
Yes,
my
Justice
thing, and I'm
Marcel, I had to mute
done.
you for just a moment so we could hear Justice Gilmore. Go ahead, Justice Gilmore.
That is all I was saying, and I know Justice Marcel is having some problems.
Now, you might be wondering, who is Justice Marcel? Well, this is him, Marcel Maddox Bey. Now, he is the one who was just airing a grievance to Light Tajiri Bey. He took her advice, canceled all corporate contracts, and all the rest of the garbage, and now you see he's losing it all. Now, Marcel was also in a bit of trouble with the law for trying to squat in a mansion. You know what? Let's take a look at the troubles that Marcel Maddox Bey has gotten into following Light Tajiri Bey's advice. And then we'll get a better grasp on why he said this might be his last call. who Justice Marcel Maddox Bey is. Let's get back into the call.
That is all I was saying, and I know Justice Marcel is having some problems, and we've talked about it, and, but for any of us to go and turn any of this stuff outside, it means we've stopped looking inside. And the moment we stop looking inside, we cannot identify anything that isn't right. Yes, because the stuff outside is just a reflection. It is purely the reflection of what we are thinking is
I want to tell a story.
Justice Marcel, if you hold for just a moment, because there was another empress that was going to say something too.
Well, hold on and
close on that.
I will
close on that. Islam.
Because, like I said, I don't know what's going on. I don't want this not to be on the record. So somebody else can go after I go. That's okay with everybody. When my situation with domicile started,
Empress, you were slated to go, but just let him go. Let him get out what he needs to get out. Go ahead, Justice Marcel.
am I being heard?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. When the situation with the domicile started, I was going back to my house, period. That was it. Conversations ensued that, why don't you just go for a bunch of houses? Go pick the nicest houses that you see, that you like. Don't worry, we're going to work with you. We'll be right there the whole step of the way. That's what it was. That's what I started. That's what I did.
Now you see, so he was advised to go pick the nicest house and squat in it, and that they would have his back. Now you see what that got him. He has gotten charged for squatting, and he is about to go to jail. And these people that advised him to do that, which is Light Tajiri Bey and her gang, are not backing him. They are not helping him. They have turned their backs on him. So he is now, right now, explaining himself and airing out his grievance, and they're not going to help him. They're just going to blame him. It's just ridiculous that somebody would actually fall for that. And pretty much the advice that Light Tajiri Bey is giving to her followers is ruining their lives. It's just mind-blowing to me that people actually listen to this lady and do the things that she advises them to do. She's advising them to squat in people's homes. You heard him. They advised him to pick and squat in the nicest home and that they would back him. And he was foolish enough to actually do it. And now he has charges pending. He will be going to jail. You see, he wants to get things off his chest because he's saying this might be his last phone call. This is absolutely maddening.
When the situation with the domicile started, I was going back to my house, period. That was it. Conversations ensued that, why don't you just go for a bunch of houses? Go pick the nicest houses that you see, that you like. Don't worry, we're going to work with you. We'll be right there the whole step of the way. That's what it was. That's what I started. That's what I did. When the situation with the domicile started, I was going back to my house, period. That was it. Conversations ensued that, why don't you just go for a bunch of houses? Go pick the nicest houses that you see, that you like. Don't worry, we're going to work with you. We'll be right there the whole step of the way. That's what it was. That's what I started. That's what I did. When the situation with the domicile started, I was going back to my house, period. That was it. Conversations ensued that, why don't you just go for a bunch of houses? Go pick the nicest houses that you see, that you like. Don't worry, we're gonna work with you. We'll be right there the whole step of the way. That's what it was. That's what I started. That's what I did. Now, are those on this call that know of the situation, is it going to be said that those domicile and conveyance demonstrations have not yielded results?
So now Brother Maddox Bey is flat out calling out everything. He's pretty much saying that none of the stuff that they demonstrate as far as trying to squat in houses or drive with illegal license plates, none of that stuff yields results, meaning none of it works. So he's calling Light Tajiri Bey out because this is the nonsense that she teaches, and he actually followed it, and it's not yielding positive results. He has lost everything behind her teachings. Do not follow this lady. You have one of her students right here admitting it all. He is admitting that none of her teachings work. Furthermore, she does not practice what she preaches. She rides around with real license plates. She pays her mortgage. So for her to tell people to cancel all corporate contracts, to stop paying their mortgages, and to ride around with these fictitious Moorish plates, it is a bunch of crock because she does not practice what she preaches. And now you have her student telling the rest of the class that none of that stuff yields positive results, and he is now homeless and he has lost his car behind this nonsense.
Now, are those on this call that know of the situation, is it going to be said that those domicile and conveyance demonstrations have not yielded results? Now, are those on this call that know of the situation, is it going to be said that those domicile and conveyance demonstrations have not yielded results? Are there no conveyances on the road that have used the process that I put on the record when we did the work that we did together? Because I'm pretty sure that that is the case. I'm pretty sure that there are things that have been said and ascribed to me, specifically to my signature and my thumbprint, that I didn't do. I didn't say. I don't feel is accurate. Now, I don't know what somebody does with that, because it seems like you said it, you did it, and then now you have bad energy, so now we're gonna say this or that. And yes, you have to look with it. Like I said, I feel my connection is pure, my intentions pure. Everything that I've done and everything that I will do is in alignment with who I am. That does not mean that I agree with everything that's said. I don't agree with that. So back to the demonstration. Just recently, some madness happened where the information that was put out that was on my phone was, put it this way, when in some instances we're a team, and then in other you're on your own and you do your own demonstration. I've been saying for the longest that we should do all of that stuff as a team work together. And on several of our calls, it was said that, oh no, that you have to do your own demonstrations. You have to do this, you have to do that. And lately, thankfully, some of that stuff has changed. However, so has a few other things like marginalization, like aspersion casting, and other related. None of that is girded by love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, there's no love, there's no peace in that. That's war. And we, both as a judiciary and as a nation, owe better. We owe it to all Moors. Speaking of all Moors, I'll make one other point. The documents that we put on the record are for all Moors. When we claim credit, we claim credit for all Moors. I think it was 40 million Moors. So we have a responsibility to 40 million Moors to assist them in getting up to speed. And yes, we can say that they need to grow a lot. That's true. We have a lot of work to do. However, anything short of providing services to all Moors, there should be no Moors that are displaced, period. There should be no Moors without conveyances, period. There should be no Moors that have lack at all. And if we do anything short of that, then we're not living up to our responsibility. And we can say we're not leaders and all that, but guess what? We're the ones that claim the credit. So if you claim credit and then don't provide the services, that's theft, in my opinion. And it's unconscionable. As unconscionable as someone that did work, the work has yielded results, but they're still sleeping on the floor of the church. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. So people can say whatever they want, think whatever they want about me or my energy or anything else like that. I've done a lot for this nation. And as of this moment, I'm displaced. As of this moment, I don't have a conveyance. As of this moment, my son feels like he doesn't have a father, as does my daughter. That's not cool.
Okay.
Wow, this brother Marcel Maddox Bey is really airing it out. He is pretty much telling us that he even lost his family due to this Moorish science. Wow, I just don't even understand how somebody could get so deep into this nonsense that they allow themselves to lose their children. This is absolutely crazy. Like, these people that fall for this stuff are gullible and like, wow. That's all I can say is wow. And Light Tajiri Bey, she needs to be ashamed of herself for teaching this nonsense, because all it's doing is hurting people. It is not helping anyone. It is doing nothing but hurting these people. This is crazy.
But Marcel, you're not the only Moor who's in that situation. That's number one. And number two, you were displaced 6 years ago. There are some things that have to be done. Okay, so let's put everything back in its proper perspective here.
I'm listening.
You were displaced 6 years ago. This is not new. It's 6 years ago. So here's what I need to say about that, and I'm going to mute you just because there's background noise, if you don't mind. Is it okay if I mute you because of the background noise? Just for now. And then, okay, well, you muted yourself, but you know how to unmute the star too. Okay? But here's what I want to say about all of that. We can overlook the energy part all day, every day. But until we get our energy right, we're going to think that someone outside of us has control over us. No one outside of a sovereign has control over the sovereign nor their vast estate. No one. No one. And I mean no one. Only, hold on, let me finish. Hold on and let me finish now, because you had the Moors that are on this call don't even know the details of your situation. But I'm speaking in terms of, and I'm going to generalize it again because all Moors need to hear this. There is not a planet that can put their thumb on your estate and stop you from getting to it. A sovereign Moor who knows who they are, no one can stop you from getting to your estate. Period. If you're really sovereign, and prove it. I'm like Grand Chief. He said that a couple of weeks back. If you're sovereign, be sovereign and prove it. Well, that's what we're doing, but we're doing it all together. Okay. Now we have, we started talking about for all Moors who are displaced. Because believe it or not, we're all displaced. Because none of us were living like our ancestors wanted us to, so to speak. But the ancestors also want us to be responsible when we govern this vast estate. There are boundaries that must be observed in the law.
Islam.
And we're moving forward. Hold on, Justice Marcel, let me finish.
I told you, this is actually crucial. What boundaries?
Hold on, Justice Marcel. Let me finish.
What boundaries? I'm curious.
Hold on, please. Let me finish.
Peace, freedom, and justice. That's the boundary. That's the boundary. Okay. Just saying.
Those are the boundaries. Those are the boundaries. Keep those in mind, and we'll move on past that point. Since you named them.
So wait, hold on.
You named them, Justice Marcel, and this is not the call for that. Okay, now, just a moment. Because the call, you're frustrated right now. And I get that. But the Moors that are on, and we feel you. But again, the Moors that are on this call also know that no one can stop anyone from getting to any estate that really is rightfully theirs, that's a sovereign. And the things that have happened with you,
all Albions are not bad.
So,
all subjects.
We agree. We agree.
Do not deserve
that. I agree with that.
Things that I agree with that.
I agree with that.
I can say with certainty that my energy was just fine as long as I was in agreement and towing the line that everybody else wanted. And if I disagree, now there's a problem. So that's the message. And I'm saying it now. I know these people on the call don't know. They don't have any specific. This call is on the record. Same record that everybody listens to.
It is on the record. It is.
Yes. That's the reason why.
We feel your frustration, by the way. And we feel your frustration. You got to stay strong though.
It's not frustration. And again, it's represented. What it is a realization that things are not as they seem. That's what it is.
Yep.
So,
correct.
With that,
we've been saying that the whole time.
What's that?
We've been saying that the whole time.
And
that's what we're here to fix.
I agree with that. So
that's what we're here to fix. So, Justice Marcel, if you
what?
No, well, I just want to be sure you're done. If you're not finished, I'll yield the floor.
The only point that I said is if the work that I've done has been used to get conveyances and domiciles, yet I don't have one, there's no excuse for that. That's unconscionable to me because the work is out there. So are the results. So
okay. Have you yielded the floor, Justice Marcel?
Say again?
Have you yielded the floor?
Have I can't understand what you're saying.
I was just asking if you had yielded the floor.
I have. Oh yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I don't want to interrupt you when you're speaking. So for the Moors that are on this call, go back to what we talked about at the beginning of this call and know that, and then do the research on sovereign, the word sovereign and what it really means. The sovereign means that we're the rulers of our own. Government means governing our own mental. That means when we're doing that, nothing can stop us. If the Albions can't stop us, what makes us think that anybody else can? They can't stop us, period. If they can't stop us, then what makes anyone think that anybody else can? No one can stop the Moors. No one can stop the Moors. come to that realization as to who we really are and that no one can stop us, the better off we'll be. Every time something happens to a Moor, we all feel that pain because we all been it. But this movement must not stop just because things happen. When I was arrested in 2016, the movement did not stop. And I couldn't come out of there and point to everybody else and say, they didn't tell me this and they didn't tell me that. That's it. There was so much we didn't know then that we knew. And one thing I learned while I was in there is all about the energy. Because 2017, I didn't know then as much as I know now about who I am. But when I came out of there, I couldn't point to Grand Sheik and say, you didn't tell me this and you didn't tell me that. He told me everything I needed to know in order to get through that test. And then when I came out, I knew, yes, Islam, come on and say that again in the chat. Seek ye first the kingdom and the conveyances and the domicile that have your attention will come. That's the truth right there. Those things will be added after the kingdom is sought. The kingdom is the energy. The kingdom is the energy. And we gotta get our energy right. We gotta clear it. And when you hear somebody say that energy don't matter, just send them some positive energy because they're gonna test out of that. Energy is everything. It's everything. And some don't want to believe that. You don't have to believe me because it's not about feelings and beliefs. It's about the ancestors are energetic beings. And so are we. We're more energy than we are this flesh that you see. We're more energy than that. We're more energy than a domicile and a conveyance. The reason we call a conveyance and not a car is because conveyance means something that is transporting energy. By definition, a conveyance, that word to convey means to move energy. So it can't be a car, it can't be a vehicle, it can't be an automobile.
Wrong.
It has to be a conveyance because it's carrying the energetic being, which is us. And just like I said at the beginning of the call, if you find yourself angry or frustrated or whatever it is that you're going through, and I have to do it too, clear the energy. Clear the energy. So that you can hear the ancestors, not like the ancestors. Now, we share information, but we can only make suggestions. We can't tell sovereigns what to do. We never have been able to tell. If we could tell sovereigns what to do, the land would be straight already. But we can't. Because the sovereign is the ruler, the governor, the government. The sovereign governs their mentor. We do not. And so, just a moment, because I'm going to have to, just a moment. And so, either we hear that and we live that and we deal with that situation in terms of, when I say deal with it, I mean just go within like we all have to do. We all have to go within. If I had come out of that situation and blamed someone else for it, for me going to jail, then I would probably be back in there. It was no one's fault. The ancestors had something they wanted to show me in there. I needed to clear my energy, not be mad at the ones that were walking around with the keys. Don't be mad at them. Clear them so I can see what they needed me to see. Because had my energy been not clear, guess what? I wouldn't have seen that they were scared when I came in there. They had the guns. Why would they be scared? Because they saw a peaceful air. Who was determined to do whatever it took. If I had to sit there, I would have sat there, and I did sit there for 25 days. I ever wanted to do, willing to do it, and it's not going to be anybody else's fault. I'm going to demonstrate who I am, and I'm not going to sign any documents that say from a Turner or any of that. We must take full responsibility for our actions. Full responsibility, and don't ever yield your power to anyone. And there are no shortcuts to that. There are no shortcuts to that. We cannot yield our power to anyone, not even to each other. And any more that's really, really smart won't accept that someone calls them their leader. Hey, you're the leader. We say, no, just keep growing so that you'll know that you lead yourself. That is where we are with all of this. We're growing. We're growing. And so with that, we're at the 2-hour mark. There was an empress who wanted to say something. Yes. I'm here from Khalifa Territory. Yes, Islam. Recently, I had the police come to my place. And they kicked open my door. I'm not gonna say kick. I'm not sure what instrument they used, but they knocked down my door to come get my daughter because my daughter's father was trying to hold on, please. So, are there any corporate contracts associated?
Okay, so that's the end of the call. Now, this Marcel Maddox Bey fellow called his master teacher, Light Tajiri Bey, to air out a grievance for her, pretty much telling her that none of the stuff that she's teaching works. He said to her, if any of the stuff works, why doesn't he have a home and why doesn't he have a conveyance? And she has no answers. You know why? Because none of that crap works. Now, I'll give her points because she was terribly nice to the gentleman. But as you can see, that gentleman squatted in $1 million home and now he's about to go to jail. This video serves as undeniable proof that the teachings of Moorish science and the teachings from Light Tajiri Bey do not work. They will not work out in your favor. You will be just like this gentleman here. Use what he just said as an example so that way you don't fall into the nonsense. He fell into the nonsense. He listened to all of the teachings, canceled all corporate contracts. He went and squatted in homes, and now he is losing it all thanks to the teachings of Light Tajiri Bey. So for anyone looking to possibly join this group in the future, use this man as an example. He has given you his story, and the stuff doesn't work. It is not worth it. You will lose everything. He lost everything, including his family. So do not waste your time with this Moorish movement. Move on to something else that will truly benefit your life. And this is not it.